Welcome back to Paddy's Golf Tips, the 2024 version, I suppose. We're here at the PNC Championship at Ritz-Carlton Grand Lakes as usual at this time of the year. So my newest tip, I suppose, is going to be on what's very topical at the moment, ground force. Footwork, to be honest.
The winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Padraig Harrington.
So how do the feet work in the golf swing? It definitely is something I had to understand myself, and it's a reasonably tough area. So, okay, probably a little bit higher level sort of stuff for most people. If you're just beginning in the game of golf, probably the best way to get your footwork, not just beginners, is by doing step drills. So you can do 2 step drills. You can start off, you take your setup, we're not going to do it with the ball, and you step as you go back. Remember, the club always goes forward in practice swings. It's the best way to keep the club on plane and everything about it. It's good for movement. So our step drill would be normal setup, bring your right foot in and step into your backswing. Okay, forward, step into your backswing. This is what you got to get this momentum. For a lot more people, you do the step in the downswing. So bring the left foot back, I'm just not going to hit it. And about this point in the backswing, you'll see, so once that club starts changing, coming up and over, your weight goes forward into that left side. Brilliant drill for amateurs to do, okay? So I'll do that in motion. 1, I take my normal step up, I can bring my right foot, okay, step, like so. And the one that I recommend, and maybe people should play with, I don't see why you wouldn't play with this one, for sure. Take your normal setup, bring your left foot back. We're going to start with a normal. And the big key when you see me doing that is literally the club is only about here before I'm stepping forward. The movement forward, the transfer of weight forward is a lot earlier than people think. Just going to grab this tee. So that's for pretty much most amateurs. Just get that movement. For the rest of us, we're going to talk a little bit more about in detail what's happening. Again, we get over the ball. We want plenty of movement in our feet. Okay? Static is not good. We definitely never want to see our weight going to the balls of our feet and us bending our knees too much. This is terrible. We wouldn't want to lock out our legs either and our weight be on our heels. By being dynamic over the ball and moving, you will find your balance points. So, backswing. So, we're nicely set up, we're moving. So we start drawing the club away. As we know, the draw away is really your hands and arms and your torso. This kind of gets left behind to about this point. From here, there will be people who give a bit of a shift. I'm not one of those who will shift and then turn. I'm hoping to get to about here without much movement. From here, I have a slight movement up into the ball of the inside ball of this foot, so there. Long drive guys will go quite high and will turn the hip a lot. For most people, when it comes to control, it would be about that much. 45-degree hip turn up into this instep here, right? I'm putting all the pressure right there. Okay, like so. Right hip obviously goes high and back, but the key here on this right leg, we're turning into this right side. Now from that angle you will see, you turn and the hip kind of goes up and back. So there is a little shift this way. We never want to keep that knee extremely flexed. So the worst thing you can do is try and stay in a flexed position. You're losing balance. Straightening your leg isn't great, but it's better than this one. So where we're looking for is basically our knee, shin to be at 90 degrees, right over the front side of the ankle, okay? Right in that position there would be ideal. Not too flexed, not too straight. They're the ideal points to be. So we've turned up into a little move like that. Now, the first move I say it the downswing because that's what we said over the years, but it's actually, as I pointed out with the step drill, it's quite a bit in the backswing. The first move is into the front of that foot. If you weren't going forward, like if it's not a real golf swing, you actually want to bounce back, like so. But because we're going to be hitting the ball, that bounce back will just go straight up in the air rather than necessarily back at it, but it's pushing hard that way, okay? Now what you will find, if you really want to get this feel, I'm going to use a prop here, Ron. Got the Wilson guys with me here this week, so might as well use them. This is a great way to feel what that left foot should be doing. You grab that, and I will show you here. If you get a club, I've got it hooked in here, and I put it behind my left hip. So I move into my left side, or if you actually come up here, we get this, maybe just a little bit there. Can't get the help these days. So so when I move into my left side and then I turn, I'm pushing hard. I'm pushing away from there. If anything, if that foot wasn't on the ground, it would actually go that way, like I was kicking a ball out that direction, with a little bit of rotation. This is the ideal drill. Turn your hips from here and you'll see how hard I'm pushing that way into the ground. My heel is a little bit off the ground. I'm pushing and straightening up. The worst things you can do, lock your knee out. That's disastrous. Don't pull your knee back. That's creating, I can pull my knee back all day and create no power. I can slide my foot back. That ain't doing much. But as you saw when I'm there, I'm pushing, and that's digging the ground up, which is what we want. We want to be pushing. That would go that way, so we're pushing and twisting away from that. Do not just straighten your leg up. That's woeful, gets no, I can straighten my leg all day with no force, and do not just rip it back. Again, that's not creating any ground force. Okay, I'll actually, why I have this here, you can also do this on your right leg for the backswing. So a miniature version, not as forceful, but when you turn into your right leg, again, if anything, I'm pushing away from me that direction. The foot is digging that way as I turn, okay? Like so. So giving you the feeling of where you want. Thank you, Ron. Another way to get what the left foot is doing in the downswing. Think of it like this. You've stepped in there. It's like you're stepping up a step. So if you were going up the stairs and you put your foot and step up, that's the right motion. It's up. It's never just pull it back. That creates nothing. It's more of a twist and up. If you want to know how that left leg, that band really does it nicely for me. I do find myself walking upstairs doing that. Just trying to get that twist in the upper leg, but still the push that if it wasn't grounded would actually push me. My foot would slip that way. If anything, I'm pushing that way against it. Okay, that's the left leg. So we move in early. We're pushing. Again, it's good to get that little habit. It's great to do it with a step. Okay, we've got a little bit of turn here, like so. Perfect. The right foot. Now, the biggest thing in the game of golf, I think, at the moment is ground force. And a lot of it is definitely centered around not having an early hip thrust. So for golfers, the worst thing they can do in the golf swing pretty much is when they're in the downswing is for that right hip to get forward and they have no room to come in. If I was hitting the golf ball down the line here, the worst thing would be that hip to get forward. Now we have no room. Okay, so everybody's taught if you've got to get your butt back, okay? Like so. Yes, we want to get our butt back, but you've got to do it the right way. So that band will give you the feeling of getting the butt back, you're pushing away, but there's a few more things that would help. For sure, if you want ground force, you need to be down and up in your transition and up in your downswing. You've got to do it as early as you can, get down. For me, All I have to think about is going up hard and I squat down more, because it's natural. If somebody said to you, I want you to jump as high as you could, you wouldn't jump as high as you could. I don't know if I can't, if I want to jump as high as I could, I'm going to squat to do it. There's no way I ain't going to go down first to go up. This is edited, by the way. We took about 6 seconds of float out of that jump. I was about this high off the ground, just hanging. It actually looked like the video broke. But just demonstrate again, 6-7 seconds in the air. If you want to go up, which we're going to do in the downswing, you will squat to do it. That's the only way to get yourself up, okay? So don't necessarily worry about the squat, worry more about the up. And when you watch it in video, hopefully you will see a squat first. So let's see what we're looking at. Okay, so I'm thinking up as much as I can. Okay, that to me is as much up as I can get. Got a big stretch here. My pelvis came up as high as it could. My torso came up, but it came up from a lateral and down. So a new beginner to the game, they'll tend to go up back here. And of course, that's why they top the ball. They go up too early. Maybe not too early, they go up when they haven't got far enough left. So a good player will get left and up. Whereas a new beginner, just because they're a bit raw, their up will come here. And that's why they could get fresh air. But do not lose the up. The up is very important in the downswing. So, how do we get this right? We want our pelvis to go as hard as we can up, okay? But again, as I said earlier, if your pelvis went up this way, you're going to block yourself out and have no room. So how do we get that? We want to be accelerated. And you watch the good players, like their right foot is like this. So they'll start their downswing and they'll be like this. Min Woo Lee, like one of the most aggressive young players in the game, his right foot is like here, like at this stage. Justin Thomas, the same, right up here. So they're not afraid of early extending. So how do they get away with accelerating as much as they can up, yet not early extending? Watch this, there's a couple of things that are going on. So once you've transferred in, your right foot now behaves like a sprinter. So you're trying to sprint out of the blocks. So again, if there was no closed chain here, if we're not attached to the ground, your right foot is pushing as hard as it can that way. When it's connected to the ground and you push that way, it will throw your quad forward, which is fine. I'm going to show you how to deal with that in a second. You're also trying to push as hard as you can that way, laterally, as hard as you can, that way and that way. But here is the real kicker. To stop you getting early extended, the good players have rotation in that hip at the same time. Their right heel comes up and a tiny bit that direction. The quad is turning in. So that's what stops it just going straight out that way. There's a turn. The turn is in here and obviously in the left leg, like so. There's a very simple way of thinking about this. For me anyway, a very simple visual, certainly for the older people. Younger people won't know this, hopefully they won't know this. If you were stamping out a cigarette, your right foot is stamping out a cigarette. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to press as hard as you can and twist at the same time is the correct reaction for that foot. Push that way, and a bit of twist. And that will create that pressure. As you can see, I can dig, by doing that twist, I can dig a hole in the ground. Again, I would have been brought up to do this, which doesn't have any pressure. My foot's coming up. This, on the other hand, has a lot of dig into the ground. So let's see this again. So both feet at impact, right? We pushed into this side. We're pushing away from there. We're pushing away with the right foot from here. So they're going opposite directions, okay? And this, at impact, they will look like that. This left foot will be rolled about that much, straightened up. For older guys, it straightens up about at this point. For the younger guys and really fast, you'll see they'll squeeze their glutes together and they'll get this position probably by impact. Okay, that's probably a bit more powerful. The older guys probably getting it straightening up here, because it just wasn't what we did back in the day. So again, you can see my foot. If you look, heel is slightly off. I've rotated my quad, it's straightened up because of the speed of things, because my pelvis has come up, squeezed my glutes together, squeezed my bollocks together. Okay, right foot has turned on top of it. So this is your impact position on a driver, like so, very tall, extending up. So I've gone like so. On a wedge or something, these are all going to be passive. That's you're going to have all spikes in the ground, and nearly all spikes. Maybe my heel is slightly off the ground on a wedge, a bit like that. But on a driver, we're looking to get as much of that pressure on both feet like so. So let's see it in action. So I'm just going to think of getting up. Again, move my feet nicely. And up I go. So when I finish, this is stretched. I think the younger guys can kind of get their knees together, but it's up. And you use the rotation of this, outward rotation of this quad, internal rotation. So external here, internal here, but we do not rake the left leg, and we certainly do not straighten the knee. That's the worst thing in the world. It will hurt you as well. We're actually pushing up. That's how the feet work in the swing. So maybe you could think about stamp out the cigarette this way, and if you want to think of the left leg and watch all the long guys, you might want to stamp out a cigarette that way. Again, the heel is coming back towards, because you're squeezing those glutes, so the legs are coming closer to each other, like so. And that's how the feet work in the swing, but you've got to get that pelvis, everything up. I know it mightn't feel natural to you, but that's where speed comes from. The up, the squeezing of the glutes, and these two coming close together, the heel coming back, both of them like that. And that's how you get your feet to work in the golf swing. But for the beginners, just do loads of step drills. Do happy Gilmores. Do not stay still. Loads of step back and loads of step forwards. And you can do both of them at the same time if you want. I'll even try it now. Not that I'm an expert at double steps. Okay, so I'm going to step back. Wow, I should probably use that in tournaments. That was quite nice. And again, a very tall finish. And that's all there is to the footwork.